Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Mark, Fractals and Forks on Sunday, January 14th. So that was quite a Friday with a really exasperated moves, especially the dollar, obviously. The weakness was, it kept going, and it actually made a new low after the close, just like euro dollar made a new high after the close. So I saw that Andy updated his fractals, and I re-looked at all my charts, and I just can't. We're like 180 degrees. With the fractals and from what I see with my analysis with the forks and everything. So yeah, who will be right? So it could be, that could be a sign for you guys to lower your leverage, because if I know that when Andy and myself we differ in opinion, that's usually a bad sign. It could be some whipsaw movement, and one day, maybe tomorrow he's right and I'm right on Tuesday, and he's right again on Wednesday, and by the end of the week, we might end up just where we are now. So don't get chopped up. So that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what I think and see, and obviously, as always, use this analysis to complement yours. Do not blindly trust what anybody says. Nobody on Twitter or nobody from other services really know what's going to happen. Keep that in mind. Everybody is, just making educated guesses. So be nimble, and yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. Usually Monday is like a bit of a consolidation of Friday, especially with moves like this. So that will probably not be indicative of the moves for the rest of the week. So I'm just warning you for that. So okay, let's look at the DXY, because it's all about the dollar, right? I've got a monthly chart. Just wanted to show it, in its entirety from 1980s. You all know, we went to the 61.8 and we turned there. So usually 61.8, if it drops below the 50, it goes to the 31.8. So we still have some downside before we might bounce. And what's interesting about this 38.2 is also that it was exactly the high in 2009. So look for more downside, 1 point or so, for sure, in my opinion. I always add that, in my opinion. But if you look at the RSI signature, we're lower. Price is higher, RSI is lower. It held 49.50 for a number of years here, until we went up. We actually broke that level, so be careful. Relative strength indicator, I keep telling you this, if it's weak, or it will probably get weaker. And we'll look at RSI on other pairs too. That is true for oversold, overbought. There is actually no such thing until the turn is really evident. Otherwise, RSI just means if RSI is 70 or 80, it just means the move is strong, and the move will continue to be strong, right? Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit more. So like I said, that 89.92 level, interesting. The high actually here was 89.69, so that would also coincide with a 50 line here of this fork. It has been support here, support here. I expect it to be support here. Is it going to be this week or this month or the next month? I'm guessing this month. So support here, a little bit of a move up, and then we're 85 is actually the target for the next until March. I'm guessing it's gonna accelerate down for the next 10 weeks, and we should be reaching the 38.2 at the bottom of this parallel, which is in June in this case. So a little move down, then up, and then down again to reach 84. So that's what I'm thinking. On a weekly, we broke this fork, right? I've been saying that in the previous videos. We closed below it a few days ago, and we're accelerating to the downside. So I don't expect that to stop. Let me move this here. Same picture, 50 line of the fork. That would be a target, or a little bit lower. Okay, and then we might get something like this, or even higher back to the median line. But that would be quite a move. So I don't think that will happen. And then down. On a daily, strong move. This was the consolidation. I talked about this, a little bit of sideways and then down. So that all materialized. 90.24, a 261.8 extension from, let's call it the wave 1, right? So then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves down, and then an ABC correction or whatever. I'll leave that to the Elliott waveticians, or I don't need to show a 4-hour chart. It's trading view. It's really difficult. I can't with moves this strong, and when I can't. I have to stop. I have to go like this, and then you'll see same targets on, obviously, on a 4-hour as on the daily. All right, so let's go to a weekly euro dollar. Zoom out this whole structure. Y'all know this. Show it every time. I just wanted to note this 139, 140 basically. That's when Draghi said, yeah, we'll do whatever it takes. So that's actually, the more I think about it, the more I think that's a level, when they taper QE, or maybe even raise once at the end of the year, we'll be at 140 in, you know, in the blink of an eye. Hang on, I have to take a sip. Okay, so let's zoom in. This fork instrumental was wonderful. What we're looking at right now is that this, so let me make this black. That's the median line. So what are we looking at? I'm looking for this red sliding parallel to hold if there is a pullback. So that could be, you know, a little bit above the high. So I'm thinking 120, 110 to 120, 120 in case of a pullback. That should hold. If we go below there, might be time for a more meaningful correction, but I do think we're gonna see a lot more upside. We'll look at top side targets on the daily. Alright, here the same thing. Kind of have to move. So this is what I said on Thursday, right? Original fork touches here, was hoping to get a touch here to get long. I was talking about 120, what did I say? 120.10 or something to get, or 120.12 to get a long. I was waiting for it. The low on Friday night during Asia was 120.30, and I couldn't wait anymore and took a long at 120.50. So yeah. So let me move this down a little bit. So what I think is that you know, 121.35, that's like it's gonna be like a magnet. Why is that? It's because it's also a reversal here. You know, it's kind of a level to look at. That's why I drew it there, and afterwards when I did the extensions, there was confluence. So I really think that's a level it's gonna have to take out. The 50 line here and the sliding parallel from the low here could also be a target a little bit higher, like 123, low 123s. So let's look at that. RSI, you know, RSI not higher, price higher, so that's bullish divergence. So the whole thing, you know, a pullback doesn't have to come. RSI bullish divergence, we still have room to move up, and that's why I'm thinking we're moving up, and it could be as high as a 161.8, you know, 123.76. It's not impossible. Price doesn't have to pull back or consolidate or whatever. Everything, I don't see anything that happened over the weekend that would change the picture for dollar weakness over the weekend. So yeah, we just keep with the trend, right? There is no reason to suspect that there is a substantial change in monetary policy, or you know, the Fed is going to raise maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times. ECB is tapering. Japanese yen, they're running out of JGBs to buy. It's still going to go down. Yeah, and dollar CAD, yeah, it's about to drop. the oil strength has to translate at one point back into the correlation with dollar CAD lower. Oh yeah, but I'm you know, just brainstorming. Let's just look at charts. Let's not assume we're the world's biggest economists. Only price action and charts count for me. So let's quick look. Yeah, I've seen that actually, you know, 4-hour charts, they're not going to help me a lot. What I would say is, you know, from a fork point of view, 50 line sliding parallel almost cut the highs here, so we're probably having to go a little bit higher, so above 122. Okay, then dollar yen, bigger picture on the weekly. You know, rejected at the trend line here. So obvious. We're going down. RSI is dropping like a rock. We're below 50. We're probably, you know, this trend, this horizontal level on the RSI is probably what we're going to reach, and maybe lower. So let's zoom in. We're at a level, we're at the 38.2, but in my opinion, since this sliding parallel is has quite some importance, we're going to reach it. It was support here, kind of, so it will definitely go there and maybe be support or not. So that's below 111. Sorry, that's below 110. My target is actually 110.25, but we'll see that on a daily here. Well, it's a little bit lower than 110.25, but so it's a lot clearer here. This level, the daily reversal level from here, we just, you know, the 200, we dropped below it. I mean, there was some hesitation here, but then price decided, okay, forget it, I'm going down. There's no way this is going to hold, so we're going lower. So what are the next levels? You know, lower. What could happen is that, and you will see that on the 4-hour, there's still a gap open at 110.83, I think. Yeah, 110.83. So I'm gonna skip the daily right now. So target below 110. 110.25 would be like an initial target to really take off some of the position, and then hope for a drop further down to 109.43 before we could get some kind of a pullback to sell again for lower. So in the immediate future, like in a couple of hours, the gap close 110.83, a sliding parallel here that coincides with, why did I draw this? I forgot, but you know, a little bit lower than the gap, 110.70, 110.70s, and then maybe back to the 30, back to the 50, back to 111, and then lower. Anyway, it's if you're short from here, don't bother. It's, you know, it's gonna go down, not in a straight line, and you know there will be little retracements and whatever. But to get into a trade right now, even this is a little bit iffy. If you think you know you could risk it, obviously, 110.70 for a pullback, but it could also not materialize. So putting on trades right now in strong moves and thinking it's going to turn around, that's only going to you know, negatively impact your your account, in my opinion. All right, so let's look at dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, you know, well, let's zoom out. The same picture, bigger fork, you know, lost the lower parallel, retested it, it retested, and then it gave up, and we're down 3 weeks in a row. And last week was actually a little bit of a reprieve. It's turning before 40, so that could be an indication that you know, it's not as weak as you know, on a weekly as we think. But then again, you know, with oil, if oil is still going to go up further, I think it's at resistance. But like I said before, strong moves and overbought doesn't mean anything. It just means that the underlying is very strong. So I would still be looking at a at lower in dollar CAD. A weekly reversal 129.98 could be a bounce place, but I'm thinking this median line here, it was never really support and resistance, and it won't be this time either. So look lower in dollar CAD, in my opinion. Quick look at the daily. Well, you know, we had a test of the 2018 open again. We turned down from there. That should be the bearish invalidation level now, 125.80. As long as we stay under there, look for downside. And you know, a daily reversal here, even though it's not really, you know, clean, but you know, 129.95, what I said before. Okay. Cable. Oh, and one more thing. Yes, I am very much aware of the COT data, the commitment of traders. The worrying part, obviously, for euro dollar is that it's you know, everybody's piling in long. I realize that, but the COT data is not always a contrarian indicator, right? At important turns, or when there's very strong moves, usually the you know, you can't go against the COT data. So it doesn't always you know, tell you, oh, ooh, if everybody's long, I've got to go short. It's not always the case, so be careful with that. So pound, it's really obvious. These parallels from the lows. You know, this one, it was just like a dream how much it held. If we you know, draw this from here, it was resistance here, it will reach here. That's there is no doubt in my mind. The only thing is, you know, we're right here at, or actually we closed above it, which is actually a little bit of a positive. So this is the Brexit low close on that day. So the fact that we closed above it, and I never thought we would, and we're closing at weekly highs, is actually a sign, you know, this move is strong and it will stay strong. Okay, so look for more upside on pound dollar on the daily. You know, fork, you just can't deny the strength of the move, going through the median line. Yeah, we could pull back a little bit, but that would be again an opportunity to buy more or to buy, right? And if we look at the high here, that would coincide in 2-3 days, 3660s. That would be my level to add or you know, start a position, because we're going higher. 2016 year open, pre-Brexit levels. Yeah, you can see it here, 147. That's 1,000 pips from here. Then Aussie has the same problem, or the same problem. The COT data is also you know, where everybody would say it has to pull back. For me, if we're so close to the median line, and you know, the median line, if you look at here, you know, resistance, support, and all that, if it's so close, it's going to go there. I talked about 80 cents a few times. I think we're going to go there. I don't have to show any other charts here. It's 80 cents. It'll, yeah, and probably higher. Yeah, so a daily, I think psychologically the 80 cents is also going to be something to look out for. A little bit of a pullback, and then higher, and probably higher highs here. That brings us to the friggin' Kiwi. And yeah, we talked about that, 61.8. I still don't understand why Kiwi is so strong. So here I would say look for a pullback, but you know, inherently with the dollar weakness, maybe we'll just be going sideways around this level, up and down and up and down, while euro and pound, and especially pound, because that cut data is not extreme. So for trades this week, I would only look at pound pairs to you know, to see it continue the move it started. If we zoom out here on a weekly, you see, you know, beautiful fork. This is just Forks 101, right? I mean, lower parallel support, higher parallel, upper parallel resistance. The symmetry between the moves around the median line. This is just textbook, right? So yeah, 61.8. This sliding parallel was support here, resistance here, so it's actually a little bit validated, so there could be a pullback here towards the 200. Hopefully we're in quite a few dollar Kiwi short positions, and if it still goes higher, then we got to cut them, and hopefully we can get out with maybe some pips, but I don't think so. Not all of them anyway. Okay, so then Aussie Kiwi. We're definitely in a bottoming process. I've been saying that for a long time. So let's zoom in. We didn't a few weeks ago, we didn't get the support that I wanted, which was you know, above 109.25. We dipped down. We're back above 109 now, and I think it's time to go up. This sliding parallel, the red line, even though we dipped below it, we haven't closed below it in since September. So pretty important level that keeps moving up, and I'm looking up, especially if the Kiwi pulls back and the Aussie keeps going to 80 cents, then you know, this pair could finally make its move up. On a daily, a very nice fork too. You know, the symmetry again, sliding parallels. Was hoping here that it would hold. It didn't, but we went down and we turned around, like, you know, really quickly. I'm thinking that this will the level to look out for actually is 109.75 to 109.83. We need a close above that, a daily close above that, and that would coincide with this parallel. So look out for that, for some bullish validation. A good thing that happened here too is, like, you know, you come from overbought, you go down, and then basically 40 or approximately 40 is support. Then you go down, you go up again, and then you retest the support, and price is lower. Then, you know, on a closing basis, I don't have to show you the line chart again. You know, you should be able to see it. You should be knowing what I'm talking about now. So price is lower, RSI is higher, so there's divergence. So if that pans out, then we're going up. On a 4-hour, the divergence, whoops, I mistyped. The divergence is even more noticeable. Let me like this. So how can I show this to you? Let me zoom in here, and so just bear with me. You see this here, let's call it from here to here, make this blue. You know, lower closes, and we have higher and higher RSI, right? It actually started a little bit higher even here. So this is massive divergence on the 4-hour, and that's also why we bounced. So look out for a break of this RSI trend line. Once we get above 50 again, then this thing should finally take off, in my opinion. Okay, let me put this away. Look at some crosses, I guess. Pound NZD, so pound going up. If Kiwi is pulling back, then this spike low could be, you know, translating into something more meaningful. We'll see. A good indication will be the Asia session tonight. What we need to get a close above 192.50. Let's call it 192.50 before we can go up. I like this hold of a horizontal RSI level. It's bullish, but yeah, it's pound Kiwi, right? I mean, it's a very, very, very tough animal to trade, but we're close. We're definitely close. Yeah. Pound Aussie. It's probably not the best now. I think pound Kiwi will be better. But the same picture, you know, RSI is turning up again. The pound could be so strong that it doesn't matter against Aussie and Kiwi. So look higher. So the median line here next week, or yeah, I mean by Friday, if we touch that, that would also be, yeah, not a specific level. Well, it could be the high here, so that could be something to look out for. The May high coinciding with the median line, not this week but next week or the week after that. So but as you can see, once the pound gets going and Aussie and Kiwi are gonna start realizing that you know, the rest of the world is also gonna raise rates, then the interest rate differential will not be playing a big role anymore, and RBA and RBNZ are constantly trying to talk their currencies down. But I do think not as much in the case of the Aussie, because that economy is overheating and they're gonna have to do something. Pound CAD, on the other hand, that's more interesting, especially since it actually found a little bit of kind of support here with the 55. It's pushing up. So pound CAD long, still a good trade. Too bad got stopped out. We broke on the daily. We broke this trend line. Are we going to test it again? Because, well, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, 3 touches. Well, actually 4 touches. So quite an important trend line. Usually there's a retest. So if we get to this level, 170 again, look for longs here. If it keeps going, then yeah. So 170, 170.21, 170.25. That would be ideal to get on the long side with targets 180. I have to talk about gold. Same comments that I made. You know, the moves are strong. We're up 5 weeks in a row. There is no difference. There is nothing that would tell me gold needs to pull back. RSI 60, still got a lot of room to move up. This fork, median line not reached yet, so we could still be looking at higher than 1375. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people missed this whole rally. And that's why I'm saying, you know, don't think it's like the S&P and the Nasdaq and everybody's, yeah, we need a pullback, we need a pullback, we need a pullback, and it never comes. So strong moves, and that's why I like looking at you know, longer time frames. That's where you really see how strong the moves are. You know, because if you go to lower time frames, you see black candles and you think, oh yeah, look, it's a top, yep, it's gonna drop, and you get blindsided, right? Because in the end, weekly and monthly closes, they're pretty important things to look at. So the same thing here. You gotta look higher. The move is strong. Went above the median line. It was support here. We moved up again. We're probably going to go to the upper parallel here of this really short-term fork, but bigger picture, 1451. That's what I'm thinking, and maybe higher. That level's not on here, but I've got it somewhere, maybe on a weekly. Yeah, 1451 would actually just be 2 legs up from this, right? That's actually, if you look at the moves we've been having since 2016, just a simple 2 legs up, that's like nothing, right? Because if this would be, you know, a third wave, yeah, then we're looking at 1654, maybe, well, at least 1540. Yeah. All right, silver. A weekly, you know, fork support here. We went up from there. I thought we would be going up from here, and this was very painful for me, and so painful that, you know, I froze, and I'm missing also the bulk of this move. But as I said in a few videos, 55 MA support, we're going higher. First target 1757, which is a weekly reversal here. And let me add the 50 line because I'd like to know where it is. Oh, the fork is quite steep, so you know, it's probably not the best fork to draw like this, and especially not with the spike down here. But hey, look, if it fits, it fits, right? You got to stay objective. Too much thinking, you know, ruins your strategy. If the strategy is forks, then do the forks. Look at the forks, believe in the forks, and that's it. So median line target, it's actually 22, which is a nice level also on a horizontal, from a horizontal point of view, right? That has been kind of a pivot here too, with support and resistance on the way down. on a daily. And that's what you do, you know. You look at charts and you tell yourself stories like, oh, it did this then, and then why wouldn't it do this now? It's like here, you know, perfect 200 MA support. That's very objectively bullish. Bounce off this horizontal RSI level, bullish. Why would you be looking for a pullback? There's no indication. And obviously I can be wrong, you know. I mean, this could drop here to well, I don't think this 1660 is probably it's gonna probably be it for the next couple of years. But you know, it's always possible. The market always does where it can take the money of as many people as possible, and then it goes into the direction that it was, you know, originally planning to go. I've told you this, told everybody this like a couple of times. So levels to watch here, you know, 1750, 60 approximately, and then if it keeps having a strong move, just keep your position and don't sell it. Always take partial profits, try to get back in, you know, 10 cents lower, and that's it. Okay. Anybody else has any? Let me think. Let's have a quick look. Oil? No, I haven't. Yes, oil. Exactly. So that actually reached my level, not here on a weekly, but this is also interesting. So this was the high, you know, 2015 high, right? On a weekly, you see no hesitation, so we could go a little bit higher to this parallel. Yes, well, I also think, because I tried a short on Friday, I also think we could be in for a little pullback, you know, to 61 or something, and I'll show you on a daily. But you know, if you look on a weekly, we still have a little bit to go, so we could still see 65, 70 or something before, because of the sliding parallel. And you know how much importance I put into those things, especially since it was instrumental here as resistance. I do think we're gonna test it again before the pullback happens. So that's still $1 from here, or $1.50. So yeah, that was on a weekly though. If we look here on a daily, and let me try to position it so we can see it like clearly, well, like this, I guess. You know, 2 legs up, this move, exactly where we are now, 64.85. We tagged it on Thursday. We don't really see an indication that, you know, a pullback happens, but if it does, this would be, in my opinion, the level to do it. If we go higher, you know, then we're a couple of dollars higher. So 64.85. If we close above on a daily, then forget it, then we're still going higher. and probably to 7150, because that would be if those parallels, which have been, you know, flabbergastingly precise over the course of more than a year, the upper parallel here coinciding with a 127 extension 7150, that would not be out of the question. So if we get pullbacks, support should be 61, you know, low 61s, and if not, I would say, you know, this area here, high 50s, but we're still probably going to go up. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. I don't have anything on a 4-hour for oil. I don't think. Oh, yeah, we're out. Yeah, I did have a fork, which wasn't bad. But we're outside of it, so that is, if it's gonna pull back, it's gonna pull back now. And yeah, 61, because if I would have to draw a sliding parallel, make it red, not as thick, I would do it here. You know, that's pretty nice. And if we get a pullback and we go to there in the next, what is this, two days, yeah, then 61s would be, or high 61s to low 62s would be a level to look at. Yeah, we all take profit way too early, Tony. We gotta keep smaller positions to ride it and not touch it anymore, and be willing to take a break even on small positions. Yeah, I've been working on a list to make a video about all those things, like, you know, taking profit way too early, or not looking at higher time frames to stay in the trade, because that's basically what it is. You start losing yourself in the small time frames. So yeah, that would be that, or that is something I'm already working on. But you know, once you start making a list and the psychology of trading, and there's so much to cover, and so much from experience, what everybody, you and I did everything wrong in the book, and to cover all that would take hours, right? Okay, anything else? Could look at some indices. I think the DAX is rolling over. 12,750. Thinking, you know, that's as low as here, or that's even lower. Sorry. But yeah, I think it's rolling over. And SPX, I have no idea. That thing is just, you know, 261.8, really nice here. Got a question mark here. Is this it? Why would this be it? I have no idea. Are we oversold? Yeah, well, You know, we've been oversold since when? When did we start being oversold? Here. So this is at 2,175, and we're how many points? 600 points higher from being oversold. So doesn't mean anything. And pullbacks, yeah, sure, RSI pulls back, but you know, you just pull back 20-30 points, and then RSI is locked and loaded again to go higher. So very, very dangerous to look at RSI and say, oh yeah, but it's overbought or oversold and I've got to buy or sell now. That's usually the first thing, you know, new traders do, and they get burnt. Yeah, well, you know, it does have Tony just said, I'll remove my RSI indicator after this. I wouldn't go that far, and I wouldn't start experimenting, you know, what we all did in the beginning. Oh, RSI, no, that sucks. Stochastics, oh yeah, that's the new thing. Oh no, stochastic sucks. Oh, MACD, because, you know, I know somebody that uses MACD and he trades like every turn. Oh no, it doesn't work like it's supposed to, or how I interpreted it. Maybe I start changing, not 12, 9, 3 or whatever it is, and I'll change it to 14, 20 and 10, and wow, it works. It worked twice, and then no, it doesn't work. And that's where you start, you know, you just lose it. So it does have, you know, indications, and that's why I only do forks, fibs, and RSI. That's all I do, and I'm sticking to it. I don't need anything more. Am I always right? No. Am I always wrong? No. Am I more right than wrong? Maybe. Usually. So yeah, that works. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up the recording now, but I'll stay in the room if you guys have other questions, so I can get this uploaded before the market opens. And thank you for listening, and sorry I took so long for those that are watching it on the website, but have a safe and profitable trading week. Bye guys.